You are tuned in to the Nutso Bunch podcast.
We are here, we are live, we are in the building.
In the building.
Yeah, man. Fred's in the building. I'm in the building. And we have a special guest.
Facts. I'm in the building.
Hey! Hey, man. A man who needs no introduction.
In Christ, I trust.
But, Fred, I think you got to take this
Nope.
introduction. No, you literally have to. This is your wave.
This is my wave?
Yes, this is.
Since when?
This is.
I think I've ever done an intro.
That's why we have to do it. I can't be introducing no Eagles. No,
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, see, I knew at some point.
You knew it.
I knew at some point it was going to come out.
And we have to just start it. We have to just start with
start it. Yeah, we could start with that.
For
That's
sure,
fine,
for
that's
sure.
Fine, that's fine.
Fred, you got it?
We have the future
Yes.
speaking it into fruition. Grammy nominated.
Hey.
Motherfucker.
Yes.
My boy.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Hey.
The only Christ I trust.
Hey.
Big Jeezy. Jonathan motherfucking Michel.
Yes. What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me, y'all. Glad to be here.
Now, this is long overdue. Literally.
Big time.
You know, and it's funny because I've been actually trying to get you down there for like looking at the messages.
Yeah. I
Like
saw
8
that.
years, 9 years.
I saw that. I was like, oh, 2017. Dang, cuz.
Damn.
Yeah,
you ain't nobody yet.
No,
Never
literally
sounded like that, man.
like literally like damn, like talent wise, like dog, it's and you just blew us up all the
Bro.
way in the fucking
I had
studio.
goosebumps the whole time in there.
Dog. The
I've
amount
never
of-
seen no shit like that. Legit, never seen. I've never been in a studio session, so like
Yeah.
that shit blew me away, bro.
Yeah, and I've been in a lot of them, and I haven't seen no shit like that.
Yeah.
So, dog, I don't know, man. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I think that first and foremost, like the wave, and I know we were talking a little bit before, but like I think that's where we should go. When did you start doing music? When would like music take a hold of you and you know, get control of your body and have you start getting into taking it seriously? I would even say, or just getting your start and wanting to learn an instrument and play.
Well, I didn't really have a choice at the beginning of it. Like I guess at some point my parents were like, my dad plays guitar and sings, and my mom sings.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is one of 7 sisters.
Wow.
So she's one of 7.
Okay.
So, and they can like sing in harmony together. You know what I mean? Like no music, they just do their thing.
Yep.
My dad is a guitar player and a singer. He had groups and all that. At some point, I remember my mom used to work like 11 to 7. And so I just remember my mom sleeping during the day because I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. And my dad got me a guitar and he would like show me chords and he'd be like, learn these before I get home. And like, that's kind of wild, right?
Right.
Threw you in the deep end.
Yeah, you know, but like it was cool. I had my little guitar. And then I was in it. You know, there were rehearsals at my house. Like we used to wake up in the morning and have prayer, and it would be like singing like in tune.
Church background
Like
all day.
yeah, church. You know, I came up in the church.
Yep,
My parents were leaders in the church. You know,
Do you find that, and before you go there heavy, but do you find that a lot where like a lot of musicians kind of I won't say get their start in church, but like, you know, get tapped into music from church?
Yeah, because in church, you know, church is one of the settings where you can like culturally deal with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you're dealing with like moving people, but you're also dealing with like a technical aspect. You're also dealing with like black genius. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a couple different things you get to deal with in real time every Sunday.
Facts.
You know, like I tell people,
Let it fly.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
It's the Nutso bunch, bro.
Sometimes I tell white students that if they really want to play black music, they should go to church for 3 years and not and just participate. Just like be a member of church and just go every
Let
Sunday.
let that fucking rhythm hit you.
Be in the choir. Don't sing no solos. You know what I mean? Like volunteer and give out some food. Like be part of the community. Because like if you ain't never heard an older sister tell you, take your time, baby, then you ain't ready for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know it's real when they say take your time,
Take
baby.
your time, baby.
Take your time, baby.
You know what I mean? It's like, I hear you.
Gem number one. That was gem number one. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's, and so then when you get to the point and you ask like when I started getting serious about music, I started playing bass because my dad, again, my church needed a bass player. So I was playing guitar and I was getting better at guitar. I had a cousin who was older than me who was learning guitar too. And so I would learn chords and do all this stuff.
Yep.
And my church needed a bass player when I was 9. And
tag you it.
yeah, basically. My dad was like, Jonathan plays plays bass. And like a couple days later, there was a bass on the bed. And I started practicing. I had a teacher. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just got into it.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire. That's amazing. So definitely, I agree with you about like, having music be a part of you from church. A lot of the people that I speak with, a lot of the singers, a lot of the artists in general, have some type of church background, and it's crazy because I even have like a church background. When I was younger, I really wanted to play a lot of sports, as y'all know. That's how we all met. You know what I mean? But I was heavy into the church choir. I used to sing all the time, right at friggin' not I know you're gonna say Zion, but I'm a member of Grace Baptist. So I used to go down there, you know what I mean, and I used to sing in the choir. I even had a solo a couple times where I was singing. So until I got to about
And that's where you heard, baby, take your time.
take your time, baby.
Take your time, baby.
Yeah. So I remember, being like 9 or 10 and hitting that crossroads where it's like, football is on Sundays.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play for the Knights, and I won't be able to go to church no more.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you make that decision. That's your choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because a lot of the people that I met from that time, Ben Ryder is one of them, from church choir.
Yeah.
It's wild how many people have that church background. So very dope because, again, like you're saying, we allow our kids at that young age to kind of develop and make your mistakes and take some of those hits.
I grew up in the Church of Morales Cafe. It's a little different.
But look,
I learned my music background a little different.
Look, man, I was gonna go there too in a second. I'll go there too in a second.
Yeah. But that's super fire. So I guess what was that next step kind of in your learning of music and like developing in music with your ear and your talent? Like when was that next step for you when you're like, okay, I don't want to say novice, but a beginner, I'm learning it, and now I feel comfortable where maybe even like taking it a little more serious and gigging and doing things like that.
Well, that was after college, really. So let's go backwards.
Yeah. Let's go backwards.
So
young age, up until like 9, 10, you're in the church.
I'm in the church
What's
doing the
that
thing.
next step then, I guess, those middle school years?
So those middle school years, that's when I started playing music in school in Waterbury.
Okay.
So that's when I started playing trombone.
Really?
Yeah, and I had this great music teacher for 4th and 5th grade. Her name is Mrs. Haberman. She was dope, and she's an ancestor now, but like I'm sure people from Waterbury would know about her.
Fire.
And like she really saw me, and I have an older sister. So she already kind of knew I was coming. So she was kind of ready for me. She gave me some challenging
older sister
stuff.
did some type of music as well.
My older sister, my older sister's a great violinist and singer.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yep. Dope.
And so
dope.
So Mrs. Haberman really started hooking me up, making me understand how to read music really well. Because like my older sister played keyboard, and so I played keyboard. Like I played all the instruments. I didn't want to play violin. It's funny that I'm a bass player now.
Yep. You didn't want to play no strings, though.
I played bass, but I didn't want to do this.
Okay.
Like I started playing trumpet, and like once the thing started hurting my lips, I was like, yeah, get this out of here. So Mrs. Haberman was like, oh, play trombone. And that actually helped later on in my career. So,
like your ear and stuff like that?
Well, with reading, because the bass, music for bass and music for trombone is the same in terms of clef. So I was playing trombone all the way through until high school. I played in the Naugatuck Valley Youth Symphony.
Dope.
So even when I was in high school, I wasn't playing in high school necessarily, but I was still doing that. So I was still developing that. And then I got to high school. My sister went to college. So my sister used to play organ, and I would play bass. Mm-hmm. And then my sister went to college, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to play organ." I was like,
What? I don't do this.
So then I was like, all right, I guess I better learn this thing. So then somewhere in my life, I just went into overdrive of study of like, there's a piano at the crib. So I'm learning. I'm playing Sunday morning service, Sunday afternoon service, playing for the ladies auxiliary, playing for the youth choir, just like downloading, just like songs and chord movements and all this stuff. Right.
Okay.
And I'm doing that independently of the life that I want to be living.
Right.
Which is, because I went to church in Norwalk.
So you would leave
So
from here to go out
every
there.
Sunday we would leave.
Still go out there too, right?
Yeah, my parents live in Fairfield now.
Yeah.
But every Sunday we would leave the crib at like 7:30 a.m. and then we wouldn't get back until like 10 p.m., bro.
No wonder you're always late to homeroom.
Bro.
Big time, yo. This dude was late every day, bro.
Dude,
tired.
I can't tell you how many times he got sent to the office.
Tired.
Yeah. And he
So-
go, all right. And he just walk
yeah,
out.
dude, like I just. But here's the thing. Here's the other reason why I was tired. So that was happening, but also my pop would wake us up at 6 a.m. for prayer and meditation every morning, no matter
Before
what,
school.
dude. Before school.
Yeah.
And here's my growing ass. Like I could,
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Like,
but-
Pops, you know sleep is important for us.
there
We're
was
kids.
there was no choice for me to play neighborhood sports. Sunday was that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, but when I'm home, I'm trying to like, damn, I'm trying to get my handles together. I'm trying to like, my parents are also immigrants. So from Haiti.
Okay.
So they didn't even really understand what was happening. They were just like, oh, we just bought a crib. We got to make these mortgage payments.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas ain't got to make no money, but like.
Y'all have to help around the house.
Yeah,
Y'all have to do what
yeah,
you're
yeah, do what you're supposed to
Stay out
do.
of trouble. And,
And
don't do
like,
nothing crazy.
yeah, no isn't a word you can use around here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm just like, all right, cool. Trying to make it work, doing one thing or the other. Sundays I'm there at home, I'm shedding. I would listen to like. Also, my parents are sanctified, so I couldn't really listen to no records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My dad had a couple records from back in the day, but like I was listening to Kiss 95.7 and like, you know what I mean? Like
Picking
whatever
up
I can get away with. Because like 93.7 wasn't even around until later
facts.
on anyway. So but like I'm learning how to play along with that, whatever. So that's how I'm developing. And then I went to this jazz camp.
Okay.
At
what age around would you say?
At 14.
Okay.
14.
So starting out high school.
Yeah, starting out high school, and like started to learn about the blues. They gave me like this packet of music that I just like listened to and just like.
Like different genres and stuff.
Well, different eras of jazz specifically. Okay. You know what I mean? So starting with like Scott Joplin in like the late 1800s until like, Rocket. You know what I'm saying? And like all the stuff past that. Mm-hmm. So it's like I listened to that like back to back. I would just listen to records until I went to college, and then I was like, oh, okay, I guess let me audition for. I auditioned for one school. I didn't get in, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go to Central and be like a poli-sci major.
Yep.
And then I was like practicing in my room every day, not doing the reading for the poli-sci stuff because it was whack. You know what I mean?
Now, what made you pick that? Was it just like, I'll just do this just because? Or was it because something that you had some type of interest in?
I think that, I had interest in it. There was interest in being like a lawyer.
Okay.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
Right, that makes sense.
So I was like trying to find the way to be a lawyer. And that just wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then I auditioned for the Central program, and I got in. But then I was an electric bass player still. But at the school, they didn't have an electric bass program, so I had to play upright.
Wow. And you never played it before?
I'd never played it before. I never studied it before. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Like I'd held one,
Yeah,
whatever.
but never anything serious.
And while the notes are in the same place, they're just physically different
Heck
instruments.
yeah. Obviously, you're holding it one way, and the other one is literally.
Yeah.
You're not for nothing. You're a tall guy. Usually, so that's one of the dopest parts of like seeing you play when I see a lot of your videos, and obviously I always like it and stuff, but you don't see many people that are your height
Right.
handling.
Right.
It's usually some little person who's reaching way up here.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
But you're just like,
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the thing that's my instrument.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I play other things and maybe down the line I won't play it as much or I only play this, like that's the one that's for me. You know, that's what made me really get to it. So then I'm at school. I had to study classical bass. It took me a little while. I had a rough teacher the first year. He was right with everything, but he was just like not a good teacher.
His methods
for me.
were off.
what do you mean? Like he was tough to work with, or
Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't very. I would say that he wasn't necessarily very understanding of where I was coming from. It was like I was coming from an electric bass standpoint, and he didn't want to teach me from what I knew.
Yeah, how to transition.
He
and
wanted
make
to
it
teach me from what I didn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like that's the way to do it if
Someone's
you're
coming
11.
from zero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
never
like-
had any type of training.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But you have like one background that you need to learn how to transition from that to that.
exactly.
And that's. Well, has he ever played electric bass?
Well, no, he's like a motherfucker classical bass player.
See,
you know what I mean? So like he didn't
yeah.
really have. So like there's a bias he's coming from.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? There's also like English isn't his first language, so there's a language barrier. There's just a communication style barrier.
Yep.
I'm also like, oh my God, I'm in college. I gotta.
You know what I mean?
So, you know, that's how that went. Then I got a great teacher. His name is Roy Wiseman. And then I had other teachers along the way through the jazz camp, you know. But those were more like mentors, and they helped me in like very specific times. Yeah.
Dope. So then, I guess my question is like, when did you decide? Because this kind of takes you up through college, right? When did you decide like this is really what you want to take seriously and like dive in? Because you know when we were in high school, I always remember you from basketball.
Right. Right.
That's what I know you from.
Picking his butt in the foul line.
Relax. What? Are we gonna reverse? Let's
This
get into
was-
some
dude.
stories. Let's get into some stories. Let's do it, Fred.
Somebody
Let's
was
do
just
it.
telling him, what happened that we were like, yo,
Cool,
Come on,
yo,
man.
if you get a free
So-
throw, like picking your ass or something.
Yeah. So
'Cause we were recording the games at the times, and our boys were commentating the games.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're like, yo, if you get a free throw, just like dig in your ass because there's a camera right behind the free throw line.
Okay.
And it's the end of the game. I think we were winning.
Wasn't against us then.
No, it wasn't. We're definitely going to talk about
Oh,
that.
we had some battles.
And then somebody was like, "Yo, do it, John, Big John, do it." And so I fucking bent over and I like dug in my ass, and man, like they zoomed in on it.
On your butt.
Yeah. Dude. Here's the great part is that I never saw it.
Public access shit, you know what
It was a
I mean?
public access
yeah.
show. I never saw it. I've never seen this thing.
WHCR 1040.
But then there was one time I'm walking down the hallway, and this girl goes, "Yo, Big John, why are you digging in your ass on TV?"
Was that like a dare? Someone dared you, and you was like, fuck it.
It's really, I mean,
we were fucking idiots in school, bro.
Dare is a very like light.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a dare.
Yeah.
Like kind of like when things came out, it was like you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And you were game.
within reason. You know what I'm
Right. You were game. You were game. That's
yeah.
what's up.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So I was in high school. I played soccer.
Yes.
I played basketball.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was in honors classes. I did all sorts of clubs and shit. You know what I mean? Like I was just like a regular college prep kid.
Yep.
And I remember making a decision not to play music in high school. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't see anything that fit me in the program. But it's a great teacher. His name is Paul Furcucci. He was at Crosby. So my senior year, we got a new teacher.
Yep.
And so that I played my senior year in school.
Okay.
But like in high school, most of the time I took like gym and clothing. You know what I mean? Like I just did other stuff.
Because you ain't want to show that you had that skill and that
No,
ability.
man. I just like the
Wanted
music,
to
the
try
music
other
program was
things.
whack, bro.
Okay,
Like
okay.
you know what I mean? Like I always knew what good records sounded like. I always knew what good music sounded like. I also knew like if I was the best musician in the room, I didn't need to be there. Like I knew that from a very young age. Like if the people,
That's crazy.
you know, if the people around me ain't better than me, like what am I doing here?
Dog, that's great right there, right?
Because who are you gonna learn from?
Right. Not only that, like, dog, why do you not want that growth to try to put yourself around people that are better so you can get better?
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
Right.
dog, I always said, like, if I'm the best or I'm the smartest in the room, I'm in the wrong room. Or I need to leave this room. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm never in the wrong room. Then.
You and me both. I went to Wilby.
I'm never in the wrong room.
Nah, but that's dope.
So then I'm in school, and I had this teacher who shall remain nameless because he tried to. He did a little.
Funny stuff.
Some funny stuff.
All right.
But anyways, the one thing that he did say that was really dope. He was like, we're talking, walking to class, and he's like, yeah, because you're going to be a pro, of course. You know,
He said you're going to be a pro.
I'm going to be a pro, and I was like, I didn't really think about being a pro. I was like in a music ed program, but I didn't like it. I was like, I don't really want to be around this. And like right when he said that, I was like, if I'm gonna do that, I can't be here no more.
Right.
I'm in New Britain, Connecticut. Like, if I'm gonna be a pro, like the pros that I've heard, Michael Jackson records, you know what I mean? That's where my head goes immediately
the best of the best.
Top
to
dogs.
the best of the best.
Yep.
And so I was 22,
Yep.
and I was like, all right, bet I need to move. I'm gonna move in a year. And I was like, I'm either gonna move to Philly, Baltimore, or New York. I'm gonna try to go to school, but if like the school thing don't work out, I'm out.
Yep.
Ended up in Philly, long story short.
Okay.
And so I moved to Philly in 2005. I didn't know nobody. Eventually I got a little job washing dishes.
What was the trigger to put your attention on Philly?
You know, I knew from growing up Haitian and going to Brooklyn for summers.
That sounds like a TV show.
Growing up Haitian, right? And going to Brooklyn for the summer and doing all these different things. Like I didn't really want to live in New York.
Okay.
But I knew that the pro level in New York was like, that was like the league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I knew that.
That's the NBA.
Not that Philadelphia is not the league, because it is. But I thought that I could afford to live in Philly
Right.
with my skill level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was right,
Had to get the D League in.
you know? And what I learned, I wouldn't be me without Philadelphia. So why Philly? All of my favorite bass players were from there. That I was studying, that I was really learning,
Yep.
either ancestral or living.
Yep.
I just felt an affinity for the city. I didn't really know why yet. You know, I was listening to the Roots. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of people around me listening to the Roots.
Everyone in that band is fire.
You know, I know you were. I know you were.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just, you know, I knew who Schoolie D was. I didn't, you know, like all these random things. And so when it came down to it, it ended up being Philly.
Okay.
You know?
Dope. Very dope. Very dope. So you're in Philly. You're now, you know, assuming, or I don't want to assume, I'm going to ask, like, what are you doing to, you know, make sure the bills is paid? What's that look like? What's that everyday grind look like for you?
Initially, it was jobs, man. Like I got a job washing dishes.
Yep.
I got a job at a ShopRite. I got a job, and then my last job was my first job, which was caddying.
Okay.
I started caddying at golf courses,
Okay.
and those other jobs, eventually I had to quit them because they literally asked me to make a decision between playing music and having their job.
Wow. Because later started getting busy.
Music started getting. It wasn't even really busy. It was just like I'm doing that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the dishwashing job. I was like, hey, bro, I got a recording session on this Tuesday. It's in 3 weeks. He's like, I need you. I'm saying, okay. I was like, my last Saturday, I was gonna have Sunday, Monday off. I was like, hey, I'm reminding you, I got this recording session on Tuesday. And it's like, if you don't come in, you're fired. I obviously didn't come in because I had a recording session on Tuesday. And that was that.
Yep.
You know, the ShopRite job came in, did a banging job. But with that job, it's like they have a union. and they give you 3 months before you can join the union.
Yeah.
And my man walks me in. He's like, "Hey man, have a seat," because I had worked out my schedule and everything was cool.
Yep.
And they were doing it, and I had a couple gigs and it all worked out. Sometimes I bring my bass into the break room or whatever. My man goes, "Yeah, so you're gonna have to decide if you want to work at ShopRite or be a musician. I will give you 4 days off to decide."
4 days off ended up being.
You
fuck
called him
I ain't
after
going
one?
back.
No. I did the 4 days. Came back in, sat down with them. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a musician."
Yeah.
Fire.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, my check.
I want it right now.
Yeah. He's like, "No, you can come back for it, whenever." I was like, "Great. All right, thank you."
Thanks.
Shook hands,
And that was it.
So then the next time, because then my work was picking up. Next time I needed a job, I was caddying. And then that was fire, because then I could just like show up and do my thing. And I had experience, so I was making good money, And then after that, I started touring. I started touring in 2008.
And you were still
3
in Philly
years.
at the time. Mm-hmm. Right. And what was that first tour like? Who was that with? Things of that nature. How did that come about?
My first trip was a residency in Morocco.
Bro, I'm telling you, man.
How do you start there?
In Christ I trust, my guy.
That's a bar.
It was a residency in Morocco.
Yep.
And it was like we were playing at this club called Le Petit Rocher that was on the beach. It was
Now let me ask you,
amazing.
wait.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the Haitian background, would you have been able to pronounce that properly?
Probably not. Probably not.
Go ahead, that's dope.
I've heard attempts at it.
motherfucker
Yeah.
fluent.
That's
in
dope. That's
French,
dope. So you said it was on the beach?
Dude, it was on the water because it was like against stone. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful location. It was like so Moroccan. There were no windows. It was just like open. You know what I'm saying? We would play every night, whatever.
Crazy.
So
Rockin' in Morocco.
I got this call from this drummer to do this thing. I was an MD at a church. And he was like, "Hey man, you want to come out to Morocco for a couple months?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, like let's go. This is
do it.
This is what I
This is what I was made for.
yeah.
Yeah, these trulies got you bubbling.
Yeah, me
over
too,
there.
me too, me too.
There isn't really much about that gig that was good,
Oh,
except for being in Morocco,
yep, location.
the apartment that we had,
Beautiful.
being in Morocco actually 6-7 times, because that place is
Is it?
I haven't been back. I'm talking we had a great apartment. They would take us grocery shopping. Grocery shopping is going to the market and being like, "Oh, let me get that tomato." You know what I mean? And this spices. You know what I mean? Wild. But the gig itself, awful. Music business, trash. Nightlife, trash. Food and beverage, trash. If I knew those words and those things, I would have loved to know that in 2008. But that's how you learn. You know what I mean?
Got it. Gotta go through it.
We were supposed to be there for 3 months. They sent us home after 2 because they weren't making enough money.
Okay. Understood.
You know what I'm saying? That was the first one.
Got it.
But then my very next tour was the next, my very first touring band and major artist was Billy Paul from Me and Mrs. Jones.
Wow.
And so
Siree.
I was in his band from, I want to say mid 2008, 2009 until 2012. It's a lot. I can't really, that period of time was kind of crazy.
Yeah. How did that come about though? How did you, get plugged into that
Billy
band?
Paul, bro.
Man,
Yeah,
because
fire.
he actually, part of his thing was to have kind of the next in his band.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so this great bass player, his name is Lee Smith, he recommended me for the gig.
Awesome.
And, this is a funny story. Somebody calls me and "Oh, do you want to play with Billy Paul?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right now."
Yeah.
They send me the music. I learn the music. I go to what I think is rehearsal, but it was an audition. And so I come in, play the music, okay, whatever. And Billy's like, "Hey, John, come on." He's like, "Man, so you sound great. You passed the audition. You're in the band." I was like,
Audition.
It was an audition.
And
I wasn't even playing.
right. he goes, now go learn my music and the music of everybody else who put out music around the time I did. Like Marvin,
Yeah.
James, Rick James,
Yeah.
Temps, Philadelphia Sound, Stax Records, like Aretha. Like the homework that I had to do for that band, by the time I was done in that band, I was the MD, and I was like
What does MD stand for?
musical director.
Director.
Okay.
Music director. And
I knew that one.
I was like, you know, there would be somebody on piano and somebody on key, like playing other parts.
And you
And I'd be like, hey, bro, that's wrong.
yeah.
Okay.
You
I went-
adjust, or during the performance.
Or during the performance,
you
yeah,
get
I'm
everybody
good.
keep going
Yeah.
if y'all want to run again, or you know what I mean. You calm them down,
Making the arrangements,
You
yep.
set
You know
up
what I mean?
everything. Yep, you do everything.
Yeah.
Literally, you're the boss of the band.
And yeah, so then that was like the end of that was when I started transitioning to New York. Yeah. And at the same time, I'm like starting to be first call bass player in Philadelphia for jazz clubs and for various things.
Which first call is basically like a keynote speaker, or like
Yeah, it's like if somebody has a show at a jazz club and they want the top band, you know what I mean? They want a band.
You're the
There's,
one that
there's
they're
like
gonna
there's
reach
a
out to.
order of bass players, you know what I mean? Or order of everybody.
Yep.
And like maybe I'm not like the first call because of taste, but like eventually I was one of the first 3 people everybody
that's
would
being
call.
reached out to.
Yeah. You
That's
know what I mean?
fire. Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah.
So
that
when you
was,
started in like, and this is just to kind of bring it all full circle, but like, and we'll continue going through the stories, but I'm just want to go back, right? So when you started, and you're just learning, you know, keys at the time, you're learning, you know, how to play different horns at the time. You finally get a bass because your dad said, "Hey, my son plays bass for the gospel church, for the church," and you're just picking that up. Did you ever think in your brain like you'd be doing these tours to Morocco and with big known artists like
Bro,
that?
this dude
and
toured
you're-
with T-Wire.
we're not going there.
Bro.
Relax,
Come
Fred.
on,
Relax. That's down the line.
Fucking
We're not.
sick.
I'm just want to take it from, you know, that point when you're, you know, an 8, 9-year-old kid to where you're, you know, 20 something in Philly and about to transition to New York, and you are literally like that guy on the bass.
well, no, I would have never thought about it. Definitely not then, because like I never even thought about music being a job.
Right.
It was, you know, but even where I was, I knew I hadn't gotten there yet. I hadn't gotten to the place.
Right.
You know,
Right,
and
right.
like the place is very nebulous. It's like one of those like you know when you get there.
Yeah, and I went to Wilby, so nebulous. You gotta like explain that.
There is completely undefined. It's like you're here for a long time. You're
Yes.
here, you're cooking, you're doing your thing, you're studying, you're playing, you're meeting people.
You're just in the moment.
You're in the
You don't
moment, right?
understand.
And then like somehow you like make this transition to over here, but in your mind you're still over here.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
But when you're over here, you see yourself over here,
Out of body experience.
right? But then when you're over here, it's hard to get like you're, oh, I haven't done it yet. Now you're cooking over here, but you still think you're over here. And somebody's like, hey, bruh, you good?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. I had one of those moments. I had a few of those, but there was one when I was, and I might have told y'all this, but I remember sitting down and watching the NBA Finals, and LeBron is dribbling up the court for the Miami Heat, and Who's Your Daddy comes on. And I'm like, oh shit, that's me. And it's my verse. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's the thing.
This is different.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I'm sorry, continue.
No.
But that's what you mean, like that, like out of body experience
Yeah.
when like
Yeah, you're like, I was not, I knew I wasn't there. Like I knew, it was like, yeah, okay, I'm in Morocco, that's what's up. But like, I didn't really know how to play if I ain't got you that good. You know what I'm saying? Like what the gig required, I actually wasn't quite ready to play it. Like I was learning how to do that, and we were all learning together, you know, and like some of the people that I played with are beasts in their own way, and they're, you know, doing their thing.
Yep.
but we were kind of all learning together, and so I was like, oh no, I got to go get better. Shit, I gotta, how do I, because like I'm just not that dude yet. Like I'm not, and like now I'm like, oh, I'm a bass player.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, okay, cool, we good. Like what I put it in my hand. If it's got 4 strings, we got it. 5 strings, we got it. We good. Standing up this way, no problem. Sleepy, good. You know what I mean? Like it's all
Don't matter.
It's all good. Because like the way that the business goes and the ways that like you never know what the presentation of your thing is going to be. Like if somebody tells you, "Hey, bro, you got to play bass right now," I'm like, "Bro, I just got off the plane. I don't have my clothes. We didn't have a sound check."
Yep.
And they're like, dude, I don't give a fuck. We just sold $7,500 tickets, and we got one more show. We're already 15 minutes behind.
Right. We got to work. And you'll jump on and get it popping.
Black T-shirt, black joggers, black sneakers. I'm
play this shit.
Yeah, we out. Like I can't,
Yep, figure it out.
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so you get to that point where we're transitioning from Philly to New York, and it's obviously a completely different scene, right? It's a completely different, status or stratosphere from Philly, which again, there's highly established people there in Philly.
Sure.
But when you come to New York, it's the league.
Sure.
You're an MSG of music.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I really like to emphasize about New York is that it's not just music, because it's the arts are at that level. So
Everything.
There's the one part of like being a very technically proficient, very technically talented like individual on your instrument, but then you've got to make these parties pop in this city. Whatever the party is, American Ballet, that's a party. They come in and they sit down and they do a thing, but like they're fancy. They ring the bell. So if you coming out here, you ain't. You know, I mean,
pull you off the stage.
You won't make it.
Yeah, understood.
You won't make it there.
Yeah,
because there's a whole like you don't live in New York until you live there for a year. That's the first thing that somebody tells you.
That's
right?
what I've heard. Yep.
By the time I had 10 years in New York, I didn't even know. I'd been going so hard, I didn't even know.
You didn't even realize you've been there for 10 years.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I've been there. Did I even plan to be here? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's been cooking. I'm not complaining at all. But it's just like New York is that kind of city. So
hustle and bustle is real.
Hustle and bustle is real. You have to actually be good at like your thing and being in New York.
Yeah, because that's separate
That's
from whatever
very
your
separate.
thing is.
Being in New York for your thing, and then being in New York for your life, and then also doing your thing.
Right. Because even just like moving around there is a completely different thing from what you're accustomed to here in Connecticut, or even in Philly.
Yeah, for sure. So like learning that like on the go. What was great for me is that I had this network. Philadelphia is 90 minutes away, but I also had my network of kind of Connecticut people who had either like gone to other schools and moved to New York. Because when I moved to Philly, most of my peers moved to New York.
Okay.
I have one friend who was like, dude, why are you moving to Philly? I was like, bro, I'm not ready. Like, you're great. You already have like, you're on 3 records. I have not played on anything. Yeah. So eventually, when I moved to Philly, when I moved to New York, I had all these connections. I could play a little bit, and I was playing at like some legendary clubs, like kind of on the sneak tip and doing some things. And my mentor's getting me in to this place and that place and this place and that place. And like I'm slowly cooking, and then I'm me, so I could meet people, and I've got my own little connections. So New York started cooking for me pretty early, as far as work, as far as like I didn't have to wait 3 years to start working in New York. I was working in New York. I was essentially like working in Philly and working in New York, and then eventually I just stopped going to Philly. Yeah,
right.
And that was that, man. And like it's whirlwind. You know what I mean? Whirlwind. Like I'm sure I'll mention something that's amazing. It's like, dude, I kind of remember it. Because it was, it was. But there've been some really, really wonderful things, But yeah.
That's dope.
Dude's
That's
been
dope.
so goddamn humble for so long, bro.
Talk about it, Fred.
Bro, I used to tell him, I'm like, yo, Big Jeezy, bro, you don't understand, bro. You are killing the game. And he'd be like, yeah. I don't think he really realized it.
No,
I've seen the transition, bro. I used to see, like I was telling him before, I said, you see when they would do the, the billboards and shit, and he'd be like, little name, all of a sudden, a little bigger. Now he's the guy on the top.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a freaking reggae fest last year, and aren't you Jonathan Michel? I was like, bro. I said, yo, you out here, dog.
That's
like people
crazy.
know you, my guy.
Yeah.
Like
that was
Yeah.
wild.
fucking flex, my guy. Flex.
That one was, and Freddie was there. Like I can't.
yeah.
that's one.
I caught it in real time, bro.
Sometimes like
And I'm like, you see, I told you. I
being
was
in
hyped,
New
dog.
York with like jazz students and in the different culture,
Yeah.
like people will recognize me from different things and be like, "Oh yeah," you know.
but to be at a
like,
reggae
to be at a
show.
reggae show, it's just like
Just chilling.
random blacks, and it's like, okay, cool, fine,
Bro, because
fine.
that's what I think is like, your biggest like pat on the back is you can do anything.
Yeah.
You're as you said, like your background, your primary focus at one point was jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what helped you get in the door. But we just sat down and worked on some hip hop stuff, and you was in there like
Yeah.
nothing,
Bro.
like nothing, like nothing, like
I was back there with the biggest smile on my face. Just like,
I mean,
I'm like, bro, I'm watching greatness.
for you though. Is it like music is music, or for you is it like, yo, I listen to this too, so this is my wave anyway?
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't. A couple things I've learned along the way. We ain't making nothing up
No,
on my end. You know what I'm saying? Like there's 12 notes.
yeah,
And they all repeat on a piano, right? So all we could really maneuver is rhythm, because rhythm is infinite. It's in space. It's time, right?
yes, yep,
So at some point,
Fire.
you've got to really like figure out what the hell is going on. And the only way you could do that is by listening, you know? And you can't listen to enough music because
music is infinite. As well.
because rhythm is infinite, music is infinite. So we could sit here and we could just hang out in the 1800s for 70 years.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I still ain't got it yet. And that's
Yeah.
1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm very much concerned personally with now music.
Why so?
Because I'm a now music. Like I'm one of the people who gets to like embody music for now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's very I have a window, and so I've kind of got my job and my calling to like be now.
Yep.
But the way that I have to be now is to be very well versed on stuff that came before,
Of course.
and
There's
then
a lot of new cats lack.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, they don't study.
The stuff that came before, and then also like technical proficiency, you know what I mean? Technical prowess and knowing like, oh, this is what it is on piano, this is what it is on like having that, and then also being able to reproduce at any point in time something that seems like it's appropriate. You know what I mean? Something that seems like, oh, that's the right thing to do. But again, you can only do that if you got the time in
Fortitude and ability.
And it's not just listening to records. And I'm glad, one of the things I'm glad for my dad for is that there was music playing in my house all day. Like
Yeah. Same with me and my big
Same,
bro.
brother.
the
We
only
play
time
all
music
time.
wasn't playing in my house was when we had prayer time, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest of the time there was a melody,
There was something in the back.
something like
Something in the
tuning
back.
my ears in the background, so that when I had to learn, when you get to college, you get to study music in school, they're like, you got to like take in all this stuff and you got to read it at the same time, and like it's a bunch of stuff. But if I didn't know how to listen, and
Put yourself at a disadvantage.
no
sometimes.
shots, all love. Like I got some classmates that never learned how to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like
They just read it like a robot.
yeah. And so when somebody's like, sing this note, they're like, huh, like, huh. It's like, whoa, you're gonna,
Yeah, I said,
you're gonna,
like you
you're
can't
gonna.
hit that note.
So now here I am in a music education program. I'm like, that motherfucker's gonna go teach a kid
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna let him go teach somebody?
Right. Right. You'd be surprised.
I'm like, wait a second. So you're giving me shit because I didn't turn in my music theory thing on time, but you're gonna let him go teach because he turned it in on time?
And he can't hit a freaking C minor.
Who is he gonna teach?
Right.
Yeah.
Who is he, so
That must be the guy teaching all the mumble rappers.
listen,
Facts.
man.
Don't do that, Fred. He
Anyways.
struck a chord and it's probably A minor.
Minor.
Yo.
Anyways, but here's the real shit.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring up a point. You made a post, and I knew we were gonna talk, so I was waiting to respond.
Let's do it.
Oh shit.
You said, who was the toughest cover back in the day?
Oof. Yeah.
Who was,
Yeah.
or was something like that?
Tell me three of the people that were the toughest covers.
Three
for
of
you
the
as a
people
kid.
that were toughest covers.
Yep. In sports.
Wait, you specifically
in
asked
sports.
him- oh,
I
okay.
said
In
it on
sports.
Facebook.
Yeah, he said
I
on
said
Facebook.
my
He said on
three.
Facebook.
My three were when I was younger. It was Mike Stoss.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
And when I got into high school, every day was the meet in practice, and then in games, Gordon Shepherd,
Yep.
and from Holy Cross. Those were the three that I always had a tough time guarding as point guards because Mike was just way more physical than me. Like
He had
even
a
at a younger
9-foot
age,
wingspan too.
Yeah, and his wings he had a wingspan. Mike, he
He was one of the first kids I seen doing the Jordan. He used to prom all the time.
all the time, dog. So he was one who he literally lived next door to me on Pearl Street, and we used to go up to the courts every day and play. And then when I got to high school, my freshman year, I was that kid, and then sophomore year, Demeet transferred in, and I'm like, dog, I'm not that dude. I'm not that. This is different.
Yeah.
He's different. So that was a rough go. And then, playing against 4 years and even 5 years, because in 8th grade, we ended up beating Wallace for the chip. But, dog, that was a whole process, too. So who were those three for you where it was like, damn, man, I had to go against him?
So, I guess I'll go the same way that you did. Growing up, Mark Brown.
Mark Brown.
Mark Brown went to Holy Cross.
Okay.
We went to elementary school together.
Okay.
So that was the first person that I was like, oh, okay, that's how you. I remember watching him. I was maybe like he was like a grade older than me.
Okay.
And so I came back in 4th grade and had a little more game, and we used to play. We used to go at it,
Yep.
And then in practice, I used to hate going against Hakeem.
True Heart. Yes.
But like me and BP, that
Battle.
was, man, we were in the same grade.
Yeah.
We were in the same grade. We were in the same height.
Yep.
So like we was in there every day. This nigga's elbows. He used to
Skinny as hell, bro.
Man, he was
Those shits was sharp.
Yeah.
he was a tough cover. And then I got 2 for in game because
do it.
this shit used to fuck with me. And then we're gonna go down another rabbit hole real fast. So Gomesy,
Of course. He was just crafty.
bro. I remember,
I used to always say in practice, like when we were playing, I'm like, this nigga ain't even playing against us right now.
yo,
He's not even trying.
yo.
So this is the thing. Can I tell y'all a secret about Gomes? And when we get him on, he can tell it himself. Yo, Gomes didn't even do shit in practice, bro. He didn't do any.
Well,
I love him. But, bro, he
not
was
even
not a practice player.
No.
But in the game,
Yeah.
dog, he just
He had it.
randomly
He
had
just had it.
25 rebounds and 35
had it.
points.
Man. So I just remember because we were also in the same class.
Yep.
So I remember
2K, you know what it is.
we just saw him every year. So then I'm gonna put Demeet Heath in that too.
Yeah.
Because them 2 motherfuckers ran a pick and roll and my bitch ass was in that motherfucker. And this nigga used to look at me like, I am fitting to eat you up.
Dog.
And it wasn't until I'll never forget this because of how much they used to torture me with that shit.
We have a fly in the studio, by the way. He's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Annoying.
He's literally in the camera, like he wants to.
I came back. We came back from
fly on the
school
wall.
one Thanksgiving, and we were playing pickup down at the South End Rec.
Yep.
And Demeet was
South
on the other
End?
team, and I'd finally started like shooting the ball well.
Okay.
And I fucking cooked him a couple times with
Good.
a fucking. I was like, oh.
Yeah, good.
This motherfucker was like, he ain't making those fucking shots. Hakeem was like, I told y'all niggas he could shoot.
Shouts out to Hot.
Yo, but here's the rabbit hole we're gonna go down.
Yes.
We were talking about this earlier a little bit upstairs.
Yep.
About like these grown ass people who were around us as youth,
Yeah, man.
who made decisions and did all sorts of things that were just so odd and questionable. The last time we played y'all, we had a solid team.
Yeah,
right.
Y'all always were good.
Yeah,
Y'all always played us
we were
good.
decent.
we played y'all good.
Yeah, y'all always played us tough.
We played y'all tough, but that year we were a solid basketball team that like we had a couple 6-footers, we had a couple guards that could play.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
Sammy, y'all had Sammy, y'all had Hakeem.
Yep.
You had Fred,
Yep.
BP. Yo, there was
Who
a
else?
couple kids off the bench.
Yeah,
Ruff-
Steve
Ruffins
came
was
off
a
the
lock on defense.
Yeah, Ruffins
Larry,
was
a lock on
yes,
defense.
Larry. Who else? Yo, y'all had like
we had a
7,
couple
8.
of hitters.
So
If our freshman team stayed together
yeah,
for
that
4
would've been-
years,
Yeah.
we would have been nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all had a good like upperclassman type team like us.
So we're going to play y'all at our place.
Yep.
Jack Tag comes out. It was Wednesday. We were playing y'all Friday. I'll never forget this shit. Such a dumbass man. He said, all right, guys, so here's what we're going to do. Hakeem's going to guard Ryan Gomes. So here's, me and BP were already like, look, bro, like we got to, like somehow we just like, he can't get 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hakeem's gonna guard Ryan Gomes.
Wait, what? That was the strategy?
You were like, what the fuck, Tag? Or some shit like that. And we were like, Hakeem's. So what does Gomesy do? Comes in.
Yeah, easy.
Might
money.
have scored 12 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy money. I'm not gonna lie. I bring the ball up and I see Hakeem. I'm
Give it
clearing
to you.
everything out.
Yeah.
Clearing it out, and I'm just dumping it down.
You're just dumping it down.
Easy
you know?
assist.
So, but that brings me.
No offense to Hakeem.
No
Obviously,
offense to
he's great
Hakeem.
in his own right, but he's not 6'7".
He's not six.
Yeah.
Like he's come on,
Yeah.
man.
He's not
like
6'7".
you know, and somehow BP was on somebody on the wing. He's supposed to come over
Probably
and
on
double.
Beeman.
And like,
Probably on my cousin Brandon.
right? Yeah, Brandon was tough too.
Yeah, Brandon had the
was
jumper.
tough.
He was-
yeah.
yeah, a
But
little
like,
everything.
but we didn't play basketball. Like he never taught us to play basketball like that.
I got one worse than you.
Yeah.
You ready for this? My head coach, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. He didn't even come to practice. Didn't even show up. Didn't come to not like one practice. Like he missed one practice. He never came to practice
Let the JVs handle
the
that.
whole year.
The assistants.
But then came to the game and tell everybody who's
Yeah.
starting and who's not.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you ain't even see what happened.
Wow.
You don't even know what happened.
That would
all
piss me
week.
off as a player, though.
It pissed me off.
Like,
and I was-
not
course.
being a starting player, that would piss me off as a
Yeah.
What
player.
do you mean? I was on the bench, bro.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids that's like, bro, I just cooked the meat and said today. Like, I had a great day.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't even get no credit for
Right,
it. Like, I ain't
right.
getting, like,
No, I ain't gonna
instead
front.
of-
I had
instead of
a-
my 15 minutes,
I had a
I'm
couple
not getting
practices
25.
like that where Tag was like, "You're starting tonight." I was like, "Where?" He's like, "Yeah, you're starting tonight."
Yeah, like, instead of my 15 minutes, I'm not going to get, like, 25 today.
Right.
Like,
right.
yeah, no, we had those times. But
Oh,
don't
man.
get me wrong. Like, I was behind the best backcourt in the city.
Sure,
Like,
absolutely.
it wasn't even,
Absolutely wasn't
like,
even-
Sed and
yeah.
Demeet, like, were...
That was even-
incredible,
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
Sed
were
was-
incredible.
Sed was different.
Sed had like the jumper and the, like the toughness, and the meat had just like the handle,
Yeah,
the craftiness,
quick craftiness,
and
yeah.
it's like his he knew how to use his body against bigger players and like get by the like
Yeah, yeah.
they were those two dudes every day. Like you say, you know how you hone your skills being around better people.
yep.
They definitely helped me get better.
Yep.
1000%. Just playing against them every day. So I get that.
You know, like I think about we went 4-16 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it's high school basketball.
Y'all did that as juniors?
Sophomore and junior year.
Yeah, because I remember senior year. Y'all
No, we had a solid team.
Senior year, we got to the
solid.
tourney.
Yeah,
we
y'all
did
made the
solid.
tourney.
Yeah.
You know, but like, sophomore, junior year, it's, again, looking back on it and being like, oh, like systems for
sure.
for things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there's no reason why I should not have been training every day of the summer.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I left high school not being able to dunk. I can't
that's
dunk.
crazy.
I mean, I could like get my fingers over the
Yeah.
joint, but I can't dunk because I couldn't dunk because I didn't know how to use my hips to
Yeah.
power up because I wasn't lifting.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have us in the gym or nothing when we were in high school.
You know what I'm saying?
They
Yeah,
did.
they
And like,
did us
and
a
that
disservice, I
wasn't,
think.
and that wasn't what I'm realizing. Like, it's different now, right?
Yeah,
It's
for
very
sure.
different now. But like these methods, Jack Taglia used to talk about going to the Final Four every year. I go to the Final Four every year. I go to the conferences, and I do. What the fuck are you doing over there, bro?
Word.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to talk about the kid who's 16 and a freshman, and you still let him play, and you let that motherfucker have a senior night
That's
when he's a sophomore because he's
Yeah.
18.
yeah, and he ain't gonna play no more.
He ain't gonna play no more. And by
Yeah.
the time the school year's over, he don't even go to school no more.
Done.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. Crazy.
And you're a guidance counselor,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
bro. Look, and this is with all gratitude for all lessons learned.
For sure.
But if we're gonna talk about like putting people in a position, you know what I mean, what your
Yep.
responsibility is, dude,
Yeah.
with like young people.
Yeah.
I know I'm 6'5", bro, but I'm not a black dude. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I know I might look like somebody who beat your ass or somebody who they told you to be afraid of, but like I need you to like guide me,
Yeah, bro.
help me learn how to read this stuff the right way.
Right, right. Because I'm sure coming from Haiti, your first sport was something different.
I play soccer.
Soccer. You said that earlier. You played soccer.
Yeah.
I didn't want to assume it.
No,
I don't wanna
it's all good.
That throw
But
me in the
that's-
racist category.
no,
and shit.
man,
but
my body-
That's the thing. Like anyone from like Haiti, DR, Mexico, most of the world's first sport is soccer.
Yeah.
soccer
So
and
you have
baseball.
to like it's a different literal learning of my dad.
Completely
My
different
dad is
footwork.
nice at soccer, so
Yeah.
we used to be in the back dribbling.
And that you do no problem.
That I still had to learn because I had a stupid ass, white ass, dumbass coach. Dude, after we graduated, the next year they got a Portuguese guy. These motherfuckers won for like fucking 15 years in a row.
See, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
another thing.
European.
And Portuguese and Spain and
Soccer.
Yeah.
Brazil. Those. So when at Wilby, we had the Cape Verdean coach.
Yeah.
The motherfucker was nasty.
Yeah. Y'all always had players and you knew how to play. I used to run around that field not knowing what to do.
Right.
Like
but that Cape Verdean coach came and he tightened their ass up.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
man, and it's because again that's the first sport he ever played,
Mm-hmm.
so he knows this shit in and out, in and out. For me, football was the first sport I ever played.
Yeah.
I transitioned to basketball more heavy because when I was in middle school, 7th grade, I was getting in trouble, and my mom was like, "Listen, boy, you're gonna have to pick basketball or football. You can't play both when you get to high school. You need to focus on your grades. Pick one." I'm already, y'all know, shit, in high school, I think I graduated, I was like 5'5". I got lucky and got like 3 inches after high
Right.
school and I was 5'8" now.
Right.
But I was little as hell, so I'm like, shit, let's stick with basketball. Nobody gets to
cap.
tackle me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't think I've ever seen you 5'8".
don't do that. Don't do that. but yo, that's the thing. Like, you have to be sure that you get people in the position that are gonna help the kids that know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
Not somebody that's
man.
there that's gonna get a check.
That's kind of like
That's what they're focused. Some of them are focused on.
it's being, again, great for all lessons learned. Being an educator, to me, is just as much of a calling as being a musician, being an artist. Like, if you don't like it, it's going to be hard to do. Like, if you don't like music or you don't like painting, but you're good at it and you try to do that shit, it's going to be hard to do.
Understood.
You know what I mean? So, like, I feel the same way about teaching. Underpaid, 100%.
Yes.
You know, if you're in it for a check and you got your master's so that you can get like a bigger check, and eventually like you're putting like the kid's face is a check to you, dude. Like that's not. It's just not fair to them because they only got one shot at,
whatever it is they're doing. And those years are vital when they're that young.
Yeah.
They are very the information they're taking in. They're gonna remember that, just like we're talking about these high school stories.
Yeah,
they're gonna talk about that forever.
Yeah. And I've had a mate like the city of Waterbury definitely provided me with amazing teachers and amazing opportunities and at least the space to grow in a certain kind of way. So I'm not going to like knock and deride anything. But you know what I mean? Like, man, some young brothers went through some shit with Jack Tag, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we're really used. I remember this one brother used to come to practice for 45 minutes, then go to his job. Because he had to work to support his family so he could play the basketball game that, like, you're not really lining up a future for him. You're just trying to win you're trying to get to the damn CIAC tournament?
Yeah,
and this kid's literally helping feed his family. Literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, man, and it's super eye-opening because for me, my parents moved here. We used to live on Austin Road, and then they bought a house in Town Plot. They couldn't afford it. My dad got let. All sorts of shit is happening. But, like, it looks like sort of like upwardly mobile black, I'm doing okay.
Town Plot, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so my teachers are kind of ignoring me. You're like, he seems okay. He's got two good parents, and
you're very articulate. And you always were.
And I had a good teacher. I mean, my older sister was she's a very good student, very quiet. She's a doctor now.
She gave that rep. And
And here I'm coming in. I'm like, G-Team, baby, let's go. and I'm doing shit like not playing in the music department, even though I'm the nicest nigga in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, there was a lot going on there. And it didn't help that I was 6'2".
Right.
And I had a low voice and I could use it. Because now somebody's looking at me like I'm just like a regular 6'2". I was like, oh, you were treating me like a black dude late? I wish I knew that. Because I just ignore that shit now. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Like, you got my drink? Like, here's your check.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was interesting to grow up here. I'm not one of those. I always tell people I'm from here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was
Same.
born and raised in Waterbury, Connecticut. My parents immigrated here from Haiti. You know what I mean? Like, I got a story, but I'm from the Bury, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts.
And we were talking earlier about the talent that's from this city.
Crazy.
Like, there's more talent from this city than I know.
Wild.
Like, I have one of my OG teachers, his name is Mario Pavone. He's an ancestor now. He's from Waterbury.
Rest in peace.
And he started playing bass at 18. Y'all look up his name. He plays like very esoteric, crazy stuff. But like he was one of those people. He was like, dude, just keep going. Even he used to see the bullshit that was coming my way.
Yep.
And he'd be like, I see it, dude. Like,
just do what you're doing.
Like, don't, one time there was some shit going on, and he was like, dude, get in the car. I'm gonna drive you home. And it was like, all of a sudden, pull it. Here, you need this. You know what I mean? He's like, look, I see it. You can't do a damn thing. And that's just that level. Let alone, we were talking about Marcus Allen. You know what I mean?
Man. That's he's.
There's a sister named Tracy Beezer. I don't know if you guys know Tracy Beezer.
Of course I know Tracy.
Tracy's
amazing. So I used to live in Atlanta, and Tracy had a, not like a residency because she was on Broadway, whatever you would call it.
Like a tour or something.
That version of Broadway. And she did shows down there. And we used to chill with her all the time, man.
Yeah,
she's amazing. She's an amazing singer.
I just saw her in something a couple years ago, like a year and a half ago in the city, man. And like, it's crazy. She's like an OG on Broadway.
Now, yeah.
Like, I say,
like, when she was first starting out.
When I say, like, oh, I went to high school around the same time as Tracy Beezer, like, black Broadway people are like,
you know Tracy Beezer?
Like, yeah, it's my homie.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Good peoples, too. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Genuine. Nice.
Yeah.
Like, no fakeness about her.
For sure.
Yeah, Tracy's good people.
I could say this now. I definitely had a crush on Tracy.
Everybody did.
You know what I mean? But like, I feel that's just she's so damn good.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's the talent.
Yeah.
She's a very beautiful girl
Yeah,
as well.
yep,
Woman,
yep.
I'm sorry. Very beautiful woman. But like, you don't see pretty women humble in our city a lot, right?
I was they say smitten. I was just
Yeah,
like, she's singing her behind off and she's acting and then she's smiling at me.
Yes, dog. And she's mad cool.
She's
like,
mad cool.
what?
Yeah.
What? Something's wrong. Nah, she ain't right. She an
We're
alien.
gonna have to do like 3 podcasts with Big
we,
John.
we
yo.
might have
I
to.
know.
We might have to.
Yeah.
Because of course my boy comes to town and he has a gig.
I got a show, baby. Come on now. You know this.
Sir,
You know this.
Man, so
We're down at Baru's tonight.
Yes,
you know
we
what I mean?
are.
For a little jam session.
we are, man, and that's gonna be dope. I'm definitely pulling up. I'm going upstairs. I'm changing. I can't be in all black over there, and yeah. So I'm definitely pulling up, man. But
Bet.
yo, please let us know next time you're in. There's so
Oh, for
much
sure.
I feel like we didn't tap into.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a
we'll
lot
come
of
back.
shit we didn't tap
We'll
into.
come back to it.
There's a lot of stories
There's
I know
a
that
lot
y'all
of
have
shit we didn't
that I
tap into,
wanted to
bro.
talk about. And
Yeah, we'll
you
get to
know,
it.
just the time
When he
that
comes
we
back,
have.
we're gonna have our milk crates.
Oh.
Don't even do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
The dog leashes, bro.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Kennedy stories, and we gotta make sure Sosa's here.
Yeah.
Sosa's gotta be here for
yeah,
those.
yeah.
He gotta be here for
yeah,
those.
Yeah.
He gotta be because there's a lot of things. Just like you guys have stories, like
Yeah.
when Gomes comes on, we're gonna have a bunch of those stories.
Oh, hell
too.
yeah. I can't wait to hear those stories,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, we gotta get those. We gotta get all these out because man, yeah, bro, it's literally a pleasure and an honor
brother.
to have you here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you blessing.
Of course, man.
First
Thank
off,
you.
my wall because you put in some amazing work over there.
You know.
And dog, like your talent, the ability that you have, just how honed in you are. You listen to something one time and like, all right, yeah, hit record.
Bro, I was mind fucked in there, dog.
Hit record.
Yo,
Hit record.
bruh.
We're good.
I was like, wait, what?
And you know what's crazy is I've honed in my craft of engineering and stuff, but when I have somebody like you who's directing while they're in there too,
Yeah.
it's just
run that
it's
back real
amazing.
quick. Run that back.
It's amazing. I love that. I love that. So
Yeah, man.
yo,
I'm glad I could do it.
thank you for coming, man. We appreciate
man.
you for coming on the Nutso Bunch podcast.
Yes, sir.
We are very,
Team,
very, very
baby.
grateful. Fred, anything from your side?
No, man.
You don't got nothing?
No, let's go to this
Nothing?
fucking party.
Yeah,
Let's
let's go to the
go.
party, man. Yo, y'all know what to do, man. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow.
Do
Please
it.
tell them where they can lock in on your
Hey,
socials.
you can find me at IET Bass. That's AYITI Bass. What's IET?
I was just about to ask
is the ancestral name, the Taino name
Okay.
for Haiti, which means mountainous land.
Hey.
So IET Bass. That's where you find me everywhere. Pull up on me, y'all.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank y'all, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be around next time. Thank y'all. Peace.
Peace.
You are tuned in to the Nutso Bunch podcast.